Hi guys, Ronnie here. Recently I got into a kind of mixed surface, gravel, cyclocross, adventure riding, whatever you call it, and one of the main reasons was that I got this bike for really cheap, but since then I made some modifications to it to better suit my riding, and now I'm going to talk you through them. So this is my basically full-on all-terrain setup. One of the things I've changed from stock, this bike comes with a pretty low quality aluminum bar which is 42 centimeters wide. I don't really like drop bars that wide, so I've used my super light XXX Bontrager carbon bar that I still had from my Amonda, so that's 40 centimeter super light carbon bar. Then the position was a bit too mellow and short for my tastes, and I needed a lot of adaptation for my Medon, but I decided to put on a bigger stem. This is a 10mm Zip Service Course SL, pretty cool looking unit, forged aluminum, very light, very stiff, nice Torx bolts in there. Also pretty cool little top cap you get included with it. Steer wise, I need to trim this as well because this is not very safe in long term use, because the stem is loading the steerer pretty much unsupported from the nut in there. Then the cables and brake hoses are all too long, so I need to trim those. My SRAM bleed kit has just arrived, so I need some DOT 5.1 fluid, and I'm ready to go on that. I'm also planning to switch the shifter cables to Jaguar Elite links, because those make the shifting extremely sweet and they're a bit lighter as well, and I have some spare ones laying around, so I'm going to use those. This barrel adjuster is not too necessary anyway. For off-road riding I put on a nice little thick zip CX bar tape. It's really nice as well. Tire wise, I've changed the mud cyclocross Schwalbes for these WTB exposure gravel tires. They have a slick center, then go to a file tread, and then, well, basically a fish scale tread and a file tread on the outside, so best of both worlds, I guess. Really like them. The front one is set up tubeless. I have managed to split the rear one, so it runs tubed now until I get it repaired by the tire service. Then what else? Obviously for off-road riding you're better off when you have some spares on your bike. I don't normally run them on my road bike, and absolutely not on a TT bike, but here I have this little triathlon zip bag, 3 seal-through cartridges in there, tire lever, quick link, then some patches, glueless patches, so basically that should cover any emergencies. Some paper in there as well to clean my hands when I'm dirty, and also to keep the things from rattling in there. I decided to put it in the rear of the frame. Previously I've had it on here, but it just interferes with the steering a bit, so I didn't really like it. This way it's much more out of the way. Then I've used one of the straps from the bag itself to attach an inner tube, so I'm pretty well covered in terms of flat protection. I've had some bottle launches, so basically I had two options. Either way, I will either have to put on some sturdier bottle cages, but I decided to just mend these ones. So I used rubber O-rings and a small zip tie to tie them together, and this way they hold the bottle very securely, and I have no issues ever since. Then gearing wise, this bike came with a 46 tooth front chainring and for off-road use I think that's way too big, even though I'm pretty fast or not as slow as the riders. So I ditched that in favor of a 40 tooth. This one is much better suited to off-road riding, and it got me up basically any steep climb I have attacked so far, even though it required a bit of muscling. Like I said, this is a 36, but spot on basically for my kind of riding and fitness. And I was actually quite surprised how much speed you can get out in a descent, so up to 55-60 kilometers per hour, no problem on this gear, because the tires are quite big, so it adds to the circumference, so you can hit quite big speeds. Pedal wise, I'm still on some old XTR trail pedals. These already have a bit of wobble on them, they're well worn, so I'll use these until they wear out, and then I'll probably get some crank border candies or egg beaters on there. Then if you go further to the back of the bike, yeah, I've already mentioned my split tire. That's quite unfortunate. I'm still experimenting with the tire pressures on there. I have read that most people run around 50 psi in tires like these. I had 15 there, and despite my lightweight I've managed to split the tire, so I guess it's just bad luck. Then saddle wise, I've kept this Serrano RXL again from my Monda. It's a saddle that really fits me, and since this is not too aggressive position, I get on with it very well. Also Bontrager Flare R light, super bright in there, just in case the adventure gets a bit too long. And then one little special detail, since I have put a red 22 derailleur with no oversized pulley wheel system to my time trial bike recently, I had some ceramic speed pulleys laying around for this fourth one, and this bike basically inherited them, so now it's pretty bling and saves some friction as well. Originally these pulleys are narrow wide, but that creates a lot of friction and doesn't really help chain retention, so I decided to basically shave the wide bits off, so they are basically just standard 12 tooth pulleys on there with a bit less friction than usual. Of course I have some more upgrades on the way for this bike, but unfortunately they are basically 8 weeks away from now, but I'm really looking forward to those. Perhaps unsurprisingly, there's going to be a quality 0 power meter on there to be able to also effectively train on this bike, and then also a pair of Zip 303 tubeless disc brake specific wheels. I'm really looking forward to testing those, because they're optimized for these wider tires and sort of mixed surface riding, and they should make this bike pretty fast on all kinds of terrain. The frame itself, it's nothing high-end or very fancy, but it's quite comfortable, quite good pedaling response. The geometry is quite road-like, so I feel right at home on it, even off-road, so very happy with this bike. I really like the kind of riding and have some good terrain in the area, so I think I'll be spending a lot more time on this very soon. Okay, so these are the details of my mixed surface bike, and here's my dog. If you'd like to know more about bikes, maybe some faster stuff as well, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.